minutes, if you make a purchase, will give you 10% or a 25% discount is what they will do. Every click you make in Amazon or Flipkart, they know exactly what you're going to be doing and things like that, guys. Okay, so that's why the data is more valuable. Yes, next day every site you browse. Why is that? Well, Google is doing the magic there. Google is also looking at and understanding the patterns, what you're interested, what you're not interested. So the next day you browse any site, these recommendations of Reebok or the Nike shoes coming up, guys. So again, that is why everybody is after data. Everybody okay with this slide, guys? Can you give me a quick yes? Making sense? Cool. So there is Shahrukh. Again, what is behind YouTube, guys? The mantra of YouTube is machine learning. Remember, everybody who searches for Shahrukh, if they were to search for Salman Khan, what can we do? You can write code. But what happens? No, some of them are interested in Salman, some are interested in Akshay, some are interested in Katrina. In other words, it is almost not possible to write code. That is where we say humans fail. Humans cannot write the code. When humans fail, bring in the machines. That is what is machine learning. Machine learning comes to you the rescue. It will take the data. The algorithms will start giving you the recommendations. How's that? That is what we'll be learning in the coming up days, guys. Okay. So, okay, I'll save that for tomorrow. Let's come here one more time. Oops. Okay. I think I'm having an issue with my mouse here. Let's come back here. Let's move to another topic, guys. Back to a little bit of Python. Okay, yesterday I just gave you a brief introduction of Python. Where is Python? A Python programmer is much more comfortable analyzing the data in the world of data analytics and things like that. So here is again a brief description of Python. It is very high level because there are lots of packages, libraries, and functions which are built in and available. We can write a lot less code compared to the Java and the .NET world, guys. Okay, so today we'll see where to download Python and things like that. So here is continuum.io. We can also come here. We can go to Anaconda. Continuum is now Anaconda, guys. Anaconda.com. Let's run it. This is the website. We'll give it a moment. Okay, so once I'll show you how to download it and things like that. This is how we bring up the Jupyter notebook. But here is why Python now? What is its trend in programming world? So if you notice the red color, Python is picking up. Again, I have briefly indicated yesterday, Java and .NET are like the king and the queen in the world of programming. In spite of the king and the queen, Python is picking up. Why? Because we write much lesser code. It's a high-level language, and it is much more simpler and easier to work with a high-level language and write a high-level language, guys. Okay, that is one of the reasons. A lot of functionality is available in the form of packages. And here is a forecast or prediction. This is what we'll be learning in the coming up days. So up to here, up to this point is what is the current. This is how it's projected. Couple of years back, this is how it was forecasted, and that is how it is also growing, guys. Okay, compared to others are kind of going down or they're staying constant, but more and more people are using Python. Now, I think I'm going to stress you a little bit, guys. I'll take you into the computer science world a little bit. I will not go too detailed into it, but just a touch of it, guys, from a slightly computer science perspective. How does Python work? Here is a function. What is a function? A group of lines of code. We'll later write and understand how to write the functions. What does a function do? A function, what Python does is, it is English-like, it looks like English-like text is what we say. It first does what is called lexical analysis. It takes this function, it is converting into symbols, identifiers, and things like that. This is behind the scenes what is happening. Okay, then it converts it into a tree that is called abstract syntax tree. Again, you don't need to by heart it. Then it converts into what is called Python object code. It is also known as bytecode, but not machine understandable code. This is different code. Okay, these three steps is what is called compilation. Python first compiles it, the code. When we write the code, it is compiling. Lexical analysis is where tokenizing, then the tree is called abstract syntax tree, then the Python bytecode is getting created. Together, these three are called compilation. This is slightly from a computer science standpoint, so just bear with me, guys. All these things I'll be sharing, Vicky. These are the things I'll be sharing. If you still want more, let me know. And the slides and things like that. So, okay, that is Python object code. Now, the Python object code is given to the virtual machine, which is like an interpreter in Python. Okay, so what is that? The virtual machine of Python is most popular one is C Python, PyPy, Jython. So these are the C Python is written in C. Then you have another interpreter written in Python, another one written in Java also. But most of the time we use C Python. We use C Python, guys. We don't need to go for PyPy or JPy unless in some code. So this converts. What does this do? It will convert Python bytecode, object code into bytecode, actual bytecode, which is understandable by machines. That is how Python works, guys. That's a high level look at it. So we say Python is not only a compiler, it's also an interpreter. It is doing a combination of both of them, guys. Why Python? Well, it is open source. What is open source? It is free. Most of the packages that we have in Python and things like that. If you want to do that kind of things in Java and .NET, generally you'll take lots of lines of code to write this. Then some of the concepts, machine learning stuff and things like that, they are not available. Only now they have started looking into it and they are writing it. And the business will not take something which is coming in Java and .NET. If the businesses, if they want to get into machine learning, they'll consider somebody who's already there for a few years. That is what is Python, guys. Python they have been already there for a few years. They are the Shah Rukh Khan and the Salman Khan in the world of data analytics. I'm coming to Jupyter. So, Wiki, I'm going to explain that in a moment. So it is open source. It is open source. It's free. There are many tools such as MATLAB, SPSS, SAS. These are all commercial. What Python gives you free. The other tools, they are commercial tools. They've been existing and things like that. And today, most of the companies are moving towards open source because they are free, guys. It is general purpose. It is suitable for analysis of data, not just financial data. If you touch data analytics, Python is the Shah Rukh Khan. In other words, Python is the king. Nobody will look at Java or .NET or others, guys. Okay, then follows the other things and so on. And you can also create web programming. That is another reason why Python is getting more popular than R. In R, you don't create web projects and web applications. Whereas with Python, you can create both of them. Okay, it works on Windows, it works on Linux, it also works on Unix. That is called interoperability. It is also much easier to work with Python from other languages, guys. That's what is the meaning of general purpose. Piece of Python program code can be called, yes, from Java. That is true, Preeti. Cool. It is high level. High level means, again, lots of package, lots of functions are available. We don't have to write low level code. Low level code is how the computer works. You need to understand many of the computer science concepts there to work with the low level. High level is you focus more on what your business wants, not what the computer wants. And Python will take care of what the computer wants. So it's hiding the complexities of the computer and the computer science concepts for us, guys. Cool. So here comes Jupyter. Python is the programming language. Jupyter is the IDE. It's called the Integrated Development Environment or a web IDE. What is special about Jupyter is, in Jupyter, you can write Python code, you can write R code, you can write Julia code. It supports many other languages. They're all called the language kernels of the different programming languages. Interfaces is where they're slightly sophisticated development environments. So what is special about Jupyter? Jupyter is a web. If you learn how to write Python in Jupyter, you will also get familiar with how to write R or Julia in Jupyter. You don't have to learn a separate tool. That is why Jupyter is getting so popular. In Jupyter, everything is saved as a notebook. A file is called a notebook. It has an extension of .ipynb, guys. Okay, IPython notebook is what they call it. And what is happening? Well, they all call. So now you use a similar kind of terminology. Whether you use PHP, whether you use Julia or anything, you call everything as a notebook in Jupyter. A notebook will act like a group of programs internally, guys. So what do you do? This is what we will see. That's what I'm going to take you in a moment. So you can write, you can look at the text, you can look at the code, you can also look at the output at one time. You don't have to write the code in separate place. You don't have to look at the output in a separate place. Everything is at one place. Much more short, sweet, and easy to work with and things like that, guys. Okay. So again, Python. What is Anaconda? Anaconda is a software package that contains Python and Jupyter. In real world, Anaconda is called as a Python distribution. So imagine a car. Imagine you want to buy a car. If you're just downloading Python, what you need to do is you will need to add many, download and install many other packages like pandas, numpy, scipy, scikit-learn, stats models, and things like that. It's like if you're buying a car, you're just getting the engine and you're assembling all the remaining parts together. Okay. What is Anaconda? Anaconda is a packaged car. You have the engine, you have the tires, you have the doors, and everything is assembled together. All these packages are installed. So most of the world uses Anaconda. And in that, Jupyter is one of the programs, one of the development environments which is included in Anaconda, guys. Okay. So again, this is where you can download the Anaconda distribution. We will work, I mean, if you have based on whether yours is Windows, Mac or Linux, you can select that. And today, most of the companies are moving or migrating towards 3.0 version. So that is recommended, guys. Okay. So it has certain advantages, more, some performance improvements have been done. Most of the artificial intelligence, machine learning, and all those things are available in part of the Python 3 distribution. And this option will better prepare us for coding because most of the companies are moving, guys. Okay. Just in case you're trying to download, you're wondering whether you have to download a 64-bit or 32-bit, what you can do is you can go to your control panel, go to the system, and it will tell you whether yours is 64-bit or 32-bit. Based on that, you can download a 64. If you purchased your laptop in the last maybe 1-2 years, most of them are probably 64-bit, guys. I don't think anybody is coming out or anybody's purchasing 32-bit because of the performance and things like that. So most likely you can download the 64-bit. So once you download, you can save it to your file, then go ahead and install. Just agree that these are the screens which will come up. You can just leave everything as default. And as you keep going next, now here, this is the only place where you can, it comes with register Anaconda as my default, and it leaves this as blank. You can check both of them. There's no problem. Okay, that's the only thing I want you to remember. Then you click on install, it will install, and there it is. If you want to bring up Jupyter, go to start, JUPY. Notice Jupyter Notebook comes. You click on that, what happens is, it brings up, I have already brought a couple of them. So it brings up this window. There's nothing. It brings up this console. There's nothing we do here. After that, it immediately brings up something like this browser, which is, let's say, come here. Here we go. One more time. Here we go. So it looks like this. Jupyter window, and scroll down here. Okay, these are some of the files and things like that, guys. Okay, this is what comes up. This is where, this is called the web ID. So there it is. That is the actual window, how it looks like, a screenshot. Another way to start it is you can actually go to start, type in Anaconda Navigator, and that will show the Jupyter window. But RAM and processor in system. Is RAM and processor in system matters? If you have a RAM of at least minimum 4 GB, it is okay with me. But what I would suggest is have at least 8 GB. 4 is okay, but 8 is better, is what I would recommend. So if you're able to bump it up to 8, it'll be much more faster because we'll be using some very heavy weight AI tools, computer vision, all these things will take up a lot of resources. Okay, so let's I'll take your questions in a bit, guys. Just give me a moment here. So let me make a little progress here. So this is called the Jupyter. It is a web ID. These are all the folders. Here is, that is a IPYNB. Notice that, guys. That is the extension. That's called IPython notebook. These are all called notebooks. You can duplicate it. You can shut it down. And here you're selecting a folder. If you have only one of them selected, it will show you one. And the folders, notebooks, running, whatever you want, you can select those things. So we selected the folders. All the folders are selected here. These are the notebooks. And if you select notebooks, it says it's running. That means if you open them, the behind the scenes, it's acting like a web server. It is running it. But you don't need to connect to your internet or anything, guys. This is a local. It's acting like a local server. And it is taking care of these things for us. All right. So if you check that, all of them will get checked up. And again, uncheck it. All of them are getting unchecked. You can upload new files. In the later days, we will do this one, the Python code. We don't need to worry about that. And here is what we generally do. You create a new notebook. In other words, you come here. You just move this one. You click on new. One more time. Oops. I think I'm having a problem with my mouse. Let's say Python 3. Give it a moment. Let's say Sheikh says my Python book came with 2.x. If I download, do I need to modify? No, it will modify it for you, Sheikh. The Jupyter Notebook, Santosh, acts is a place where you can write a group of programs. Instead of writing everything in one separate file, it will act like a group of programs at one place. It's a standard format used across many of the major companies. And it is easy and simple to learn compared to many other development environments, guys. Okay. So let's say one more time, Python 3. And let's see, you mean a piece of Python code can be called. Okay. Notebook, which one is better? Jupyter is one of the most popular ones. 70% of the world uses it. I wonder why it's not coming up. Interesting. Shouldn't take that long. Let me come back to my console here. Touch it. Okay, there you go. Now something seems to be running. There you go. Once in a while, we need to touch that server like that because it's been idle for a long time. And you'll get that by your this thing, guys, okay? By a little experience. True, it is a browser-based interpreter, Sheikh. You said it well, better than me. That's exactly what it is. Yes. Pankaj, you can also install it on Red Hat Linux. So now, this is how the notebook looks. And what do we do, guys? Well, come back here. Okay, there is, you click on new, you can select the default there. You can also select the Python Conda, no problem. They're all saved as IPYNB, just an FYI, keep that in the mind. You don't need to buy hard it. Select the default, it'll open a new cell. This is called a cell. And now notice when you open a cell, come here, take a look at this. Notice that pencil, it's in edit mode, which means you can enter something here, 1 + 1. And let's say, for sake of simplicity, that is entered. It's called input field or a cell. It acts like a program. Cool. Then that is called the edit mode. And now if you say escape, so in other words, now I'll say escape. Notice the pencil is gone. This is called command mode. It's in command mode, like a view only mode, guys. Okay. Then you have control enter. So notice now, control enter is what I'm doing. Notice this is what happened. Here is what is happening. This is called output field. What it is doing is it is showing the output. Okay. But the output field cannot be modified. You can modify the input. Come back here, you can modify this to 1 + 2. Run it again. Control enter. That will give you 3. But you cannot modify the output. Then you have shift enter. Now notice this. We'll change this to 1 + 3. Do a shift enter. And now it is doing the same thing as control enter, but it also adds another cell at the bottom. As simple as that. Control enter will not add the cell. You need to manually go and say insert cell below, like that. But if you do a shift enter, let's say 2 × 3, then it will automatically add that insert a cell below. That is shift enter, guys. Okay. So that's what that does. Then you have cut, copy, and pasting. So here I have hit the header. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Toggle the header. Then I'll say toggle the toolbar. This is a toolbar. You can copy the cells, paste the cells, and things like that. You can move the cells. So I select this, move it up. So select this one. Let's say move it up. So notice this came up. 2 × 3 has come up. You can move it down, move it up again, things like that. This is for run. This is for executing a cell. When you do control enter or shift enter, it's actually running. If you're a mouse person, you can click on run, but I would say go with the shortcuts, guys. It's better for your fingers, hands, and ergonomic, from an ergonomic standpoint also, instead of the mouse, always prefer the keyboard. That is for stopping. Sometimes we go into infinite loops and you can stop it and that will stop. And this is for a refresh and things like that, and we'll see. So those are moving up and down, that is run, and that is stopping. And here comes, now notice this, guys. I will say escape A. It will add a cell on the top, inserting a cell on the top. Again, I'm selecting this one, escape B. It has now added a cell below. That is escape A and B. These are like the shortcuts. Here and there we'll need them. So let's say here is escape D, D. Gone. So in other words, one more time, escape D, D. That is deleting. Okay. Then a markdown. Markdown is something, come here. I'll select this code, say markdown, and say text, come out of it. Okay. There you go. That is kind of treating like HTML code. It's not the code. It is not treated as a source code, but it is treated as the HTML markup. That's what the markdown guys. If you want to do some documentation and things like that, that is what we do. We put that in markdown and say, hey, we are adding here, we're multiplying here, and things like that, guys. All right. And see what else we have. That is a markdown. Then escape M is the last one. I think that is the markdown stuff, guys. I'll save that for tomorrow. Let's come back to a little bit of actual lab here. Okay, back to Jupyter. Yesterday, I think we looked at a few things, but let's come back here. Scroll down. Over here. Type A, type B, radius, okay. User input, okay. Let's take a look at this, guys. Let's see what we have. Radius equal to 3, pi equals to 1.4. So one step at a time, let's start with 1. Here is radius equal to 3. If you recall, this is numeric data. Then you have pi we are hard coding it as 3.14. Pi equals to 3.14. Oops. I'm going to paste it just to save some time, guys. I'll be sharing all the notes and the slides, guys. You don't have to make notes or anything. So don't be in a hurry or anything like that. Why Jupyter Notebook? Okay, Santosh, one more time, buddy. If you did not get it, or each of this cell is called an input cell. It is acting like a program. In the coming up days, what you're writing now, one line of code, I can write 10 to 20 or 100 lines of code here. That acts like a program. In real world, what you do is you save everything to one file. And many times you want to jump, you want to see in many files at one time. If you're opening tens and tens of files, what will happen is it will become little confusing. Whereas you have everything in one shot. In the world of analytics, that is what we would do. Okay, imagine somebody predicted there's an election going on between Modi and Rahul. Somebody predicted Modi is going to lose this time. And what will they do? They'll say, hey, here is my data. Here is how I analyzed. What will they do? They'll give you a big notebook. Or in other words, they'll give you a lot of group of programs. Opening everything, looking at this and trying to understand step by step is very confusing. That's why Jupyter comes to your rescue. Every step by step, what you have done, we can look at it and we can look at the output and we can try to understand. That is how the researchers, the statisticians, and the data scientists work with. Okay, buddy. Okay, you'll realize it in a few days. We can get special Python software. Okay, there are other environments, buddy. This is one special one which is available, Darshan. You can see the output of every line. It test it into pieces, then test after writing the whole code. Yes, that is also a good way. You first write one line at a time, make sure your things are working, then put everything together and run. That is much more simple and easy. Divide and conquer. Oh, Pankaj, sorry about that, buddy. I'll try to go a little bit slow. I'll take that. It's easy to debug. Yes, it is easy to understand also. Good, Preeti. Thank you. Can we get the history? Huh? Tough question, Ramya. I don't know. I think maybe I'll just try this one, but I don't know. I It's not recognized. You need to put exclamation to run. Let me run this one. Ah, there you go. Very good there. I didn't realize that. I know we can do that in Linux, but I never tried it there. Very good, Ramya. Whatever in Jupyter or Python, the concepts are same. The syntax is same, concept is same, just the look and feel is different, Santosh. Cool? Okay. So Pankaj, I think I'm answering too many questions in a short time, buddy. Maybe that is what is confusing you. Sorry about that. But let's come back here. Let's see where we were. So there is radius is 3, pi equals to 3.14. So behind the scenes, for sake of simplicity, what did we do? Imagine one more time. Come here. This is your laptop. And the laptop has RAM. Choose this. Here's the RAM. We created a couple of cups. So let's say we're creating an object. This is radius. Let's say this is pi. We have given a radius. How much did we give? Radius is 3. So here is radius 3 and here is 3.14. 3 dot, oops, one more time, dot and 1. Okay, now let's see what else we got. Area of circle, by now we all know pi r square. So what we are doing is we are doing a simple mathematical operation. Let's say get rid of this one so that it won't confuse you. It is area of circle. So first do that, and here is printing it, area of a circle. If you do pi r square, we're getting that value. So here we're doing the math operation, and then we are printing the value here, guys, as simple as that one. So now let's see, now take a look at this one, type of radius. Here is type of radius. Let's run enter. When you say type is a built-in function. It is telling you it is integer. Integer is nothing but, again, it's numerical data, but it's non-decimals, not decimals. It's treating it as a non-decimal. Then you say type of pi. I have briefly explained this yesterday, but for sake of discipline, one more time, I'm going to do that, guys, okay? Bear with me. So there is pi, it is saying float, float is decimal. Okay, so in other words, let's come back here. Come back here. Blind this. Choose this one. Choose this one. Here's a friendly mantra. Imagine you have T. T is like numeric data. This is numeric data. In T, you have green tea. So let's say, choose this. One more time. Here is green tea. What is green tea? Green tea is non-decimals. Non-decimals. And what is it? This is what Python is calling as integers. Integers. Then you have another tea, a blue tea, which we'll call this as ginger tea. This is blue tea. This is decimal data. Now what is this? This is ginger tea is what we call, but these are the floats. But what is special here? Remember, come back here. Choose this. All teas are not green tea. Oops, one more time. All teas are not green teas, but all green teas are tea. Which means all numerics are not non-decimals, but all decimals, come here, all decimals are numeric. Cool. Similarly, all tea are not ginger tea, but all ginger teas are tea. What does it mean? All numerics are not decimals, because numeric value can be non-decimal, but all decimals are numeric, which means integer and float, we call them as numeric, but all numerics are not integers, all numeric are not floats. Remember, the mantra is all green tea is tea, all ginger tea is tea, but all tea is not green tea, all tea is not ginger tea. So what is integer? Integer, I will call that as green tea. In a slightly friendly way, guys, okay? So what is type doing? Type is giving you, it is telling you whether it is integer or float. It is telling you whether it is a decimal or a non-decimal. Everybody with me, guys. Can you give me a quick yes, please? Do you understand? Is that making sense, guys? Let's see, are you typing it? Okay, there you go. Okay, great. So let's see, take a look at this one. Here is another function. Let's say we ask you how many Input, how many apples do you have? Now take a look at this. Input is a built-in function, and I'm going to press Shift Enter. It will say it's giving you a text box. It is asking the user to enter something. Let's say we'll enter 5. It comes out 5. But now take a look at this one. User input is how many apples do you have? Which means here is user input. Let's say we'll enter 5. And now what do you have? You have user underscore input. And say shift enter, it shows 5. So what is the difference between these two is here you ask the user to enter something, but you did not say whatever he entered. Here we are saving it. In other words, if I come back here, think of it as if in the first scenario, you created a cup, you asked user to enter something, you entered 5. That's the cup. In the second scenario, let's take this one. You created a cup, you asked the user to enter something, and you're giving a name called user underscore input. It is always a good idea to give the names to your cups or objects. Cool. So in other words, if you give a name to your objects, you can always reuse them in the coming up steps. That is why it is always a good idea. That is one thing to learn. A second thing is input. What is this input doing? Input is asking a user to enter something. It is prompting. It is the way you ask a user to enter something. That is what is the input function, guys. Okay. So now take a look at this type of user input. If you say what is type, again one more time, type will tell you it is a string. It's not, even though we entered a 5, it is a string is what it is telling us, guys. Okay, so we have looked at these. These are numeric data. What are strings? Strings are textual data. They are like the coffee cups is what you can think of. str is textual data, as simple as it is not numeric. In other words, the input, what it is doing is whatever you enter here, it is treating it as textual data. That could be 10. Let's now change to 10. It's treating as textual data, not as numerical data, guys. Okay, so let's say come here. Now take a look at this one. User input. And what we are doing is here is input and we are wrapping it around with int. So let's see what happens. Ask user input. Ask how many apples do you have. Scroll down here. We'll say, let's say 10. Now here's user underscore input. It's 10, should be 10. I'm going to toggle the header. Okay, that is 10. Now you say type of user underscore input. It'll give you integer. Why? What we have done is called converted. We converted a string to an integer object. Okay, so in other words, take a look at this. Here is 10. This is numerical data. What is textual data? If you give the same 10 like this is called textual data. But what we are doing is, we're doing something like this. Int of 10, and notice it converts to 10. So what is this? If it's in a single quote or a double quote, that is being treated as a textual data. So what is int doing? Int is converting. At this stage, it is probably slightly complex or slightly advanced for those of you who are not much familiar with these concepts, guys. But stick with me and I'll tell you why I'm putting this at this stage. Okay, so now take a look at this, guys. Maybe a small exercise for today. Pi equals to 3.14. We're creating pi equals to 3.14 one more time. Sorry. So I'm exchanging the windows here, guys. Sorry about that. Bear with me. Let's see. Maybe to avoid the confusion, let me put it here. Let me put this here. Put this here. See if this will avoid the confusion for you. Put this here. Type user input. Up to here. Okay, let's see if this will avoid a little confusion so that I don't have to change too many windows. And let's scroll down. Okay, so pi equals to 3.14. Now take a look at this. Radius. Radius is this one. Now notice what I'm saying is please enter the circle of the radius. Now here is something which is missing. Notice if I run this, it will give me an error. It does not understand. What do you think goes here, guys? What should I put here so that I don't get the error? As simple as that. Cool. So now notice it says please enter the circle. We'll enter, let's say 5. Okay. Now what is happening is whatever we enter is being saved as radius. So take a look at this. Here is radius. Now notice it is in single quote, which means it is treating it as textual data. Even though what we entered as numeric data, it is treating it as textual data. Now take a look at this. Here is area. Area is equal to pi. And what do you think goes in this ellipse, guys? Ellipsis. What goes here? What is the formula of area? Let's see, are you typing answers? There you go, as simple as that. So there is radius. Cool. Now notice we'll get another error. What's happening is pi radius, which is pi r square is correct. But what is happening is the radius is a textual data. On textual data, you cannot perform multiplication operations. What you need to do, so take a look at this one more time for sake of discipline. Here is type of radius. It is coming in as string. String means textual data. What we need to do is radius float. So notice now, we'll say here is radius. Now here, we'll convert it to float or int. You can also use int. So I'm converting it to float. Say radius underscore FLP. And notice now that's 5.0. It is treating it as a decimal. Okay. So if you say, hey, what is your type? Radius underscore float. It says it is float. Okay. So we converted textual data into numerical data is what is. Now, what do? You say area equals to pi radius underscore float multiplied by underscore float. So now you get 78.5. Okay, so in other words, by default, input function treats every data as textual data. That is true. That is right. Input is treating everything as textual data. We can omit that if we directly put that into a float variable. That is true, Preeti. But let's go one step at a time. Okay. Okay, that might be a little advanced for some of you guys, but just stick with me. So let's see. It looks like I still have a few minutes more here. So let me make a little bit progress. One more time. Mera Bharat Mahan. Copy this. Come here. I'm going to paste this. Notice it's in single quotes. If it is in single quotes, that means it is a textual data. Cool. String. True. So let me come here. Menu. Let's say view. Say toggle the toolbar. Go back to menu. Go back to menu. Scroll down here. Oops. Just 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. There you go. So in a full maximized mode, it comes like that, just so that it is visible. Okay. It's not cooperating. Toolbar. If you say toggle toolbar, notice it shows the toolbar, but just to save some real estate, I'm toggling it so that you can see more of the screen, guys. Okay, let's say come here and let me put this back to normal size. So it comes back again. Strange. Okay, back to Mera Bharat Mahan, guys. Okay, so that is again, I think I briefly talked about the strings yesterday. So let me make a little bit progress here, guys. If you write Mera Bharat Mahan in double quotes also, they're the same. This is string, this is textual data. You can do it in single quote, you can do it in double quotes. Then come back here. Another one, comment. If you put a comment, you're telling Python, this is not source code. This is just some English English, English text is what we are telling. So this is where the concepts of the computer science, where the compilation and the interpretation is not happening. More precisely, the compilation is not happening to the bytecode. It does not convert it to bytecode, is what is the computer science meaning, guys. Generally, we do that. So single or double quotes are okay. Another comment there. But one more time, I think this was the last one I explained yesterday. You cannot give Mera Bharat Mahan, a text like that. You must give it in a single quote or a double quote, guys. Okay, so there is one more time, just for sake of discipline, single quote or double quote. You can also select this 1, 2, 3, wrap it around with 3 quotes, single, double, or triple quotes, but these are quotes, not double quotes. That's what it means. Cool, guys. This is also okay if you run it, no problem. That is also a possibility, guys. Okay, now take a look at this. Here comes Namaste. Here is Namaste. It prints Namaste, no problem. Then you have Mera Bharat Mahan. There is Mera Bharat Mahan, no problem. But let's see, there is a small problem here. Can you take a guess what is the problem, guys? New line character, I see. Okay, okay. Give another thought, Preeti. Cool. So in other words, Namaste is not seen. Only Mera Bharat Mahan is seen. What is happening is Mera Bharat Mahan is overwriting Namaste. That is what is the problem. So what do? That is where print comes. Say print Namaste, Mera Bharat Mahan. Now notice print is explicitly printing. It is not overwriting the previous one. Catching it, guys. If you don't give print, it is printing, but it will overwrite the previous one. If you say print, it will explicitly print it. The 3 quotes, you did not get the 3 quotes, okay. So in other words, take a look at this. Here is Namaste. I'll say 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Say 2, 3. One more. Okay, now that is 3 quotes. Let's say cut that here. Put this here. Single quote. Let's put a double quote. Let's say Hamara. Hamara. Bharat. Instead of 3 quotes, I'll give a double quote. This is a double quote. So now, if I run it, notice Mera Bharat Mahan, Hamara Bharat, Namaste. We're seeing 3 of them. In other words, you can write a textual data in the form of single quote. You can write it in double quotes. You can also write it in triple quotes. Tejas. You can use any of them. Generally, we use triple quotes when you have multiple lines. So take a look at this. Here is Namaste. And here is one more time. Let's say copy this, paste this. What shall we say? We'll say Jana, Gana, Mana, Ana, and let's say Adhi. Janagana Mana Adhinayaka, right? Adhinayaka Jaya He. Okay, so now what is special about this one is it's in multiple lines. Run it, notice that. Even, so in other words, generally when we use triple quotes, if your text is big, use triple quotes, more than one line. We don't use single quote and double quote. That is what it is. Who was that? Tejas. Catching it, Tejas? Class time is 8, Pankaj. 8 to 9:15 will go, guys. Just a couple of minutes here. So let me see what else I have here. Oops. Okay, these are going to be the passwords. I will save the passwords for tomorrow, guys. Okay, gentlemen, ladies, it's almost 9:15. After a few days, maybe I'll extend it till a little bit more, guys, until 9:30 in coming up days. So just bear with me. Which book is good for practice on Python and data science? Please refer for more. Okay. Okay, so basically O'Reilly publications are good. Machine learning using Python is one book. I will share those books in the drive, guys. You can directly get them from the drive. Okay, you try to be there till 9:10 at least, Shivam, because this is more important than Django. Yeah, machine learning, O'Reilly publication. So let me come here. Come here. What is that? You'll be able to download these PDFs and things like that, guys. You can start with any of these things. Introduction to Machine Learning. Any of the O'Reilly publications are pretty good, guys. Generally, this is what I follow. We'll do close to 20 of them, Pankaj, including all the algorithms. Every algorithm is a separate case study / project. Pyramid, yeah, Flask. I'll be covering Flask and Streamlit, buddy, not Pyramid, Santosh. That is the UI. I'm going to share all the documents. Tejas, is this the first day you're coming? Yesterday I showed you, if you recall. So here is the drive. Let's go to this one. This is the data science. Only ML, not only Python. Yeah, there are also Python books, Sanjay. But this is what I'll be sharing in the coming updates, guys. In about a few days, I think the support will share. I'll share it to support. They will take care of your emails and things like that. So who was that? Tejas, that's for you, buddy. For Python also, generally, I start looking at O'Reilly, guys. Cookbook, you don't need to go for cookbook now, but you can start with Introduction to Machine Learning with Python. I think that also has a pretty decent introduction on Python, Sanjay. To make those books access with our Nagraja, Nagbabu, I think is what you mean. Yeah. I'll add it to the drive, so you'll get the link. Yeah, Tejas, the support team will share it with you once you complete your formalities, buddy. Cool. Okay. So, gentlemen, ladies, for today, I'll stop our journey here. Let's continue the journey tomorrow and go from here, guys. So, any questions before I wrap up, guys? Thank you, guys. You guys take care, stay home, stay safe, keep learning, guys. And I'll take the questions tomorrow. Save that for tomorrow, Santosh. Cool. Oh, I think you just, once you complete your formalities, they'll share the drive and then you can start your practicals, Preeti. Cool, great. Thank you, guys. Allow me to sign off. Thank you again. Stay safe and keep learning. Thank you. Bye for now.